Spot, we're having a look at the McFarlane Toys The Matrix Series 1 Neo, The Matrix Lobby Scene. Spot was actually feeling real nostalgic about some of his old figures that he hasn't had a chance to open up. I was also in the mood for The Matrix, so it got me thinking maybe I'll go through some of my older collection of figures, get them opened up, and we can have a look at them. This being one of them, this is something that I've had in my collection for a while. This is the Series 1 Matrix figures, and this is Neo. This is the kind of figure that you want to pair up with the equally cool Trinity figure that makes up the scene from the lobby. Down below the package, it says assemble base to recreate the lobby shootout scene from the Matrix. Not for children under 17. I don't know why it said ages 17. But there you go. On the back of the package, the complete line, it says each Matrix collectible is sculpted in stunningly accurate detail direct from the films and includes several accessories. The Series 1 consists of Twin 1 and Twin 2, which were the very, very hard figures to find, at least at the time that these figures were released. And there was also a Morpheus, and you combine the three figures together and you got yourself a little scene. It says Morpheus and Twins bases connect to recreate the scene from the film. And then the other end of it was the Trinity and Neo. You can also go to, and I'm not sure if the website still exists, but you can go to www.thematrix.com. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, we're going to get a better look at Neo from the lobby. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. When you get Lobby Neo out of packaging, you get 4 different pieces. These 2 pieces here just pegged together. There's a little tab on either side, and they just basically, I'll just take it apart here for a second. They basically just come together like so. You just line them up, and it sits in each other in those 2 grooves. You just push them together like so. And there you have the flooring as well as the back area, which really actually has some nice detailing. Once again, with these ricocheted bullet pieces and debris that's being shot out from the wall. And some nice detailing in the floor there with bullet casings and other things there as well. Little debris, little pieces of rubble and stuff like that. In the packaging, actually, it shows a couple of guns lying on the floor, but there are no guns here. The only gun really that you get is the M16, which we'll look at in a second. But you also get yourself a little side pylon, which has the smooth surface on the one side, and then the other side is where it's been riddled and shot up with all the little bullets, and there's bullet holes, once again some bullet ricochets and stuff like that being blown off the side of the wall. And they even have this steel piping running through, the steel framework running through the concrete visible as well. So really some nice detail. I like also that the one side that really hasn't been shot up yet, it's cracked, but it still has that nice smooth texture to it. And it is also sitting in kind of a floor filled with debris and rubble. So that kind of just sits to the side, just kind of like that. And then the other accessory, as we already mentioned, well, there's the M16. Some nice painted on there. But then you also get Neo. And Neo, unlike, say, the twins, the 2 twins and Morpheus, you could really stand them on their own. They didn't really necessarily need to be in a dynamic pose to get the job done. You could still stand them somewhere and that you could still appreciate them. Neo, on the other hand, yeah, okay, you could kind of have him standing if you want to, but he looks weird. He clearly is geared towards the idea that he's supposed to be doing something on the display stand. Face-wise, facial sculpt isn't terrible. I mean, it doesn't really look like Keanu Reeves. I mean, it's one of those things, if you look from a distance and squint, sure, okay, it looks like Keanu Reeves. He's got his jacket on, his leather jacket, and some strapping in his legs, the buckles in his boots, some decent detail, though I would say, again, it doesn't quite look like Keanu Reeves. Now, the way he's standing, you would kind of think that he's staction. He does have some articulation. His head does rotate. Ankle, well, his legs rotate via the, well, there's a swivel right above his one thigh, and then the other leg swivels right underneath the, well, the Neo's crotch area there. But like the rest of the figure is kind of stag action. And then, of course, his arms rotate. You could have him kind of Supermaning it, you know, if you want to. Or what you can also do too, you'll see one hand has this metal rod sticking out of it. I don't care if you are the chosen one, that probably still really hurts. There's this metal pole sticking out of his hand. And then the other hand looks like it's geared towards, yes, holding something. So what you're going to do, let's bring the camera back a little bit here. Take this, we'll just move this out of the way. There is a peg hole, very, very hard to see peg hole right there. You see it? Right there. And the easiest way to tell too is look on the underside. You'll see right where that hole should be. It's right, again, it's right there. You'll also know too that you've got it the right way and it's not supposed to be like this because there is no, you know, there's no present hole there for Neo. So you take the hand and, oh, I'm so sorry, Neo. You kind of just peg him in to the display base. And you get something that looks like this. You kind of have to adjust his leg ever so slightly and adjust his arm. And you can get Neo hand standing it. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think by having it do this, by having him, you know, standing on his hand, it detracts from the fact that, okay, it might not look like Neo had you just had the figure standing. But when you instantly have him looking like this, it takes the cool factor of this Neo figure from like probably like 4 or 5 to like a 14. Then you can take the base, kind of put it to the side, just to kind of keep it propped up. Realistically, what I really should have done was take his M16. You can still do it now. There's no rules saying that you have to do it before you peg him in, but you can get Neo like this. And again, you can do some tweaking and some adjusting depending on how you really want him to be displayed. But you ultimately get something that looks like that. Looks good. Liking the look of it. It's, again, a really dynamic piece. I didn't really pick up the other Wave 1 figures. Really, the only ones I was interested in initially was Neo and Trinity because I thought the lobby scene looked quite nice. They've sat in packages for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years at least, probably even longer. They were part of my older collection of stuff. But it's one of those things that you can't really appreciate it until you get them out of packaging. When you get them out of packaging, you can kind of really see, and you know, you get them in a display, and it looks neat. It looks like a fun piece. Now what I'll do is, Spot's going to also review Trinity. So when we get Trinity open up, I'll put the two figures together. You guys can kind of get a good feel for how the two look together. But I gotta say, like, McFarlane made a good, smart approach when he initially did these figures. Instead of just having Matrix figures, which we had actually before, just before McFarlane handled the property, there was another line of toy company that produced Matrix figures, and they were just kind of awkward, standing-looking figures. McFarlane decided, no, you know what? If I'm going to make McFarlane style, if I'm going to make McFarlane toys, Matrix figures, I'm going to make them dynamic, and that's exactly what he did here. The end result is a really neat looking display piece featuring Neo. Now, unfortunately, as it tends to be, and because you already know that this is an older figure, these aren't in retail stores. The way you can get them now is through online. Or perhaps if you can find them at a toy convention or toy show. Would I recommend them? Absolutely. Again, likeness-wise, maybe not so much. But when you get someone like Neo standing on his hands, well, standing on one hand, and shooting his gun, that's pretty cool. That's something that you look at and say, you know what? Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. For that reason, I'm going to give the lobby scene Neo, I'm going to give him an 8. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the McFarlane Toys Matrix Series 1 figures. We're having a look at Lobby Scene Neo. And again, stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to also be having a look at Trinity. And then afterwards, I'll put the two together. You guys can see the two of them side by side. If perhaps you guys were able to pick these up yourself, let me know what you guys think of the figures as well. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.